Following the passing of Sir Stirling Moss earlier this week, we thought it would be appropriate to revisit some of the greatest drivers in Formula One who missed out on championship glory. Starting off with Aussie Mark Webber. Modern-day F1's nearly man, Webber was a decorated driver with 9 victories and an impressive 42 podium appearances spanning his career. But the Australian was missing one prize in particular, the World Championship. He came agonisingly close in 2010 after a solid season of strong finishes, but let a 16-point lead in the title race slip to his rival Sebastian Vettel at the penultimate race in Abu Dhabi. Disarray between equality in the team with the two drivers, unlucky performances and racing against the up-and-coming Vettel seemingly pushed the Australians' title chances into the distance in the years to follow. Moving on to David Coulthard. The Scottish sensation went from F1 rookie to Grand Prix winner in the space of 16 months, with Coulthard clinching his maiden victory with a dominant performance at the 1995 Portuguese Grand Prix. He would charge to third place in the final drivers' standings that year in his rookie season, tipped as a future world champion by many, but with Mika Hakkinen and Michael Schumacher at play, Coulthard would have to play second fiddle. In total, Coulthard finished in third place for the F1 standings for 4 seasons and second place to Schumacher in 2001. Felipe Massa can safely lay the claim of coming close to the World Championship than anyone else on this list. After a strong collection of performances early in his career, the Brazilian was given a seat at just 24 years old at Ferrari, alongside 7-time world champion Michael Schumacher for the 2006 season. Strong but mediocre performances would follow until the 2008 season, when Massa would take on Hamilton for the title, coming incredibly close to winning. When Massa reached the checkered flag to win the 2008 Brazilian GP, the live points had him as the champion-elect, until his only rival Hamilton would storm past Timo Glock and take the extra point he needed. Sadly, a near-death accident the following year at Hungary would see the Brazilian later return to the grid but never regain the same level of competitiveness he had prior. It might seem ironic for Rubens Barrichello to make this list, having been a part of one of the most successful teams in Formula One history during the era of Ferrari and Schumacher domination, but sadly Barrichello was never able to realise his championship potential. 9 wins and 62 podiums gives him a better record than some of the world champions who were able to capitalise. The 2003 season should have provided ample opportunities for the Brazilian, but early mistakes in Australia and Brazil saw him relegated to the second driver position. Had he not lost up to 20 points earlier in the season, could Ferrari have chosen to favour him instead of Michael? We will never know. Juan Pablo Montoya is next in our esteemed group. Arriving in F1 in 2001 with a prestigious record behind him, having won the 1999 Kart Championship and the Indy 500 in 2000 as a rookie, Montoya was highly regarded as a driver capable of taking on the might of Schumacher and Ferrari. After an eye-catching first season for Williams in 2001, highlighted by victory at Monza, but ultimately let down by poor reliability and inconsistency, the Colombian driver had made vast improvements for the 2002 season, but was ultimately powerless to stop the Schumacher and Ferrari domination. A similar story would develop in 2003, and despite a switch to McLaren in 2005 and 3 wins that year, Montoya would leave the sport for NASCAR midway through the 2006 season. Another big name in the group is Carlos Reutemann, who on his arrival in the sport was already being compared to his fellow countryman and 5-time world champion Juan Fangio. Making his name as a Brabham driver in his early years, Reutemann's stock rose rapidly after a third-place finish in the 1975 F1 World Championship ahead of James Hunt. His success saw him land a spot at Ferrari from 1977, and he enjoyed 2 solid seasons with the prancing horse before leaving to Lotus and then Williams. Reutemann would achieve the Constructors' title in 1980 as fellow teammate Alan Jones took the individual crown. A strong title challenge in 1981 saw the Argentine take wins in Brazil and Belgium, giving him an early lead in the standings, but any hopes were dashed after a strong season by his Brazilian rival Nelson Piquet. The iconic Ferrari driver had his hopes of becoming F1 world champion cruelly cut short when he sadly passed away in a crash at the 1982 Belgian GP. A driver tipped for greatness, Villeneuve narrowly missed out on the 1979 F1 world crown by 4 points to Ferrari teammate Jody Scheckter. He would go on to take 2 magnificent wins in Monaco and Jarama in 1981, but he would sadly never reach the same heights before his passing. Leaving the best for last, Sir Stirling Moss heads up this group of iconic drivers given his achievements, statistics and legacy as one of Great Britain's first F1 superstars. With 16 Grand Prix wins and 4 times runner-up for the World Championship, without a doubt Moss's place is cemented amongst this group of drivers. Moss's near misses in capturing the elusive world title are well documented. including most notably in 1958 when he defended Mike Hawthorn from being disqualified from the Portuguese GP, which would later result in Hawthorn beating him to the crown by just a single point at the season finale. Additional notable mentions must go to Bruce McLaren, Ronnie Peterson, and Jackie Ickx, all drivers who came tantalisingly close to realising their championship dreams. Did we miss any drivers in our list? Do you agree with who we chose? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more motorsport content.